Welcome into the Wanks FPL podcast. I'm your resident banana, Bluff FPL, joined by FPL Mac and FPL Vibes FC, Mac and Sharp, to talk through, hey, 3 greens. Let's talk it up. That's pretty hype. Yours are a little bit bigger than mine, but it's not small, it's average. So, I'm still happy though. The color's green, so it's fine. How are we doing, boys?
Pretty good.
Early in the week started off better, kind of ended poorly, and then just like the Liverpool game, utter catastrophe. So
I think we're all a little bit in the same boat. Probably me a little bit more than you guys, just because I captained Bruno, but my week was like skyrocketing, and then it's just steadily come down. It feels like I was saying to Mac before we came on, like 1 week you dodge the big guys like Semenyo and Gahey in terms of ownership, and I was like, fuck yeah, okay, they didn't get any points, but now it's, Rodgers gets points, João Pedro gets points, like some threat's going to do something. But to the point of last week, the trend continues. Lots of goals, lots of pens, lots of points from big players. We love it.
The Prem's finally seen some scoring again. It's nice.
100%. In terms of rank, just to review, I finally am able to adjust this scale down to 2.5 million now that I'm at least semi-certain that I won't go back up to that level, but who's to say? But yeah, things are getting a little bit closer between you guys. So that's exciting. But yeah, I'm still hanging on behind. Just a disastrous season. I have the reverse curve, neither here nor there. But yeah, in terms of the mini, like Mac, you made up some pretty big ground on Sharp. Sharp and I were very close for who was wearing the banana or the cone this week. I just needed my boy Ekatike to come through, and he sure didn't. So
he had plenty of opportunities.
He had so many chances, which is both encouraging and frustrating, but it is what it is. It was funny though how many times he tried to like go one-on-one against a defender and like kind of juke him out, and I'm like, you're not Saka, you can't Ekatike, like you do what you're good at. This is not it. So, but yeah, he had a lot of chances. Ball was going into him, so he'll be fine. But we'll see. Quick turnaround for a double game week this week on Tuesday, I believe is the deadline. So, in that sense, somebody like an Ekatike, but this could apply to a lot of players. That quick turnaround might mean we see some surprise benchings. So just a good week to be looking at those benches and make sure that you're covered just in case of any of that. But yeah, let's talk first about that Liverpool City game. Obviously, we're potting right after that happened. Wild game, really fun to watch. Like
super
fun game. Two sides where the stakes are really, really high. Obviously, City pulling out means that Arsenal still have somebody at their back, and if they had lost this game, Arsenal probably would have run away with it. Which, as somebody who now is fully on the I hate Arsenal train, I'm super down with that. But
yeah, what swayed you? Because you're a mercenary, you don't really have a team. So like, what's just
it's really just their play style. Like they're so boring to watch. Like every time that you have a week where you have Arsenal assets and you have to be watching that game, I just want to kill myself. It's so boring. The whole like what is it their second or third highest goal scorer on the team is own goals?
Goal. I think it might be their first highest scoring.
That's just like, I hate that. I hate that ball. I don't know. I feel like when I watch videos of older games and like times where I used to really be into soccer back when I was a kid, like the scoring is just so much more direct. And now it's like set piece goals and bouncing around the box and kick something in. In this game, obviously, we got just a banger from Sobo. I love those goals that he's able to score. And so this one ended up being really fun, but you're never going to get a game like this against Arsenal. They just don't.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing for corners at 50 minutes in their FA Cup game against Chelsea, and I was just like, this is so boring. Like, come on.
So I hate that team. I don't want to, because like the other thing is, I would assume the Prem, similar to other sports, is a copycat league where if Arsenal win, then other teams are going to start molding their play style to mimic that. And I feel like this season we've already seen that to an extent. So I just don't want that to become the dominant style in football of just, yeah, sounds awful. Anyway, Sharp, vibes, high, low. I mean, green arrow, but rough end of the game week from a personal perspective.
Yeah, rough end of the game week. Even the green arrow is super small. Like I only went up what ended up being after like adjustments 15K rank. So it's not like I'm celebrating too hard there either. The hit itself was worth it. But this game just shitty. It was, the worst part was how high it was after the Sobo and then how quickly it came down afterwards. That was the real problem. Because you look at that first half, and this is pretty indicative, like we didn't have the ball. like we were just running with our heads cut off on the back line, trying to keep it out. So the fact that we didn't concede anything there was, I don't even know what, but surprising. And then you finally put pressure on the entire second half. Can't really finish. We look like kind of a mess around the box in terms of trying to make decisions. You mentioned Ekatike trying to go one-on-one. It's like we start to get a run and then we have to play it backwards, or we try to get around people by going backwards.
Yeah.
And everything gets held up and just turns sloppy and slow. And so it gets really disgusting in the final around the box. And then what a fucking banger. I mean, you just have to appreciate greatness. That thing was gorgeous.
So sick.
It was
He's so
good.
nasty with it. And was it the Arsenal game earlier in the year where he did that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's done that multiple times, but that was the
No,
other big
that was like week 4 or whatever. Yeah, against Arsenal. And it was a 1-0 final. That was amazing. This one we couldn't make count because we just literally implode. Like I don't know how to explain what happened after that. Like sort of City turned on, but also we do this where like you score and then you give up, or like your mindset completely shifts and it's tough to watch.
You
He's
guys
such
came
a
out
psycho.
so hot at half too. Like you should have scored almost immediately after half. You can see that huge jump at like the 46 minute.
That's got to be
And then-
Ekatike, right? That big
Right,
one.
I think it was. And then there was just like a
Right.
couple more chances that went over the bar, and like it's just. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as Luke. Like I wanted City to win this game purely so the title race stays consistent, but got away with one from a non-Ekatike owner perspective.
Yeah, for sure. But again, we'll see. Like, I don't know. I think now it's that time where you're looking at how many minutes did a player get over the weekend, because it really could come around and bite you midweek. Obviously, in Ekatike's example, it's probably a little less likely just because they don't have great replacements. But we've seen Slot go with different setups, and so yeah, that part does worry me a little bit, especially with just how physical this game ended up being in the end. But neither here nor
Dude,
there.
I don't think there's any way, because he cannot start Gakpo and Salah up top after the way they look. Like, holy shit. That's if you look at the games in which we've won, Gakpo hasn't been playing, or he wasn't in the game. It's actually a ridiculous stat going back now, like a few months. So I don't think he can start those two up top. I wouldn't worry if I had Ekatike.
What is your vibe on Kirkez? Because I was just shaking my head so many times in this game where he's just like, I don't know what he's doing. He seems like he's on his own planet. He doesn't really interact well with the rest of the team. But I mean, he wasn't like terrible. I don't think the like mental side of the game is his strong suit. That's my take.
I mean, look at him. I'm not surprised by it. He looks like he's he's got a thick skull there. He looks like the kid on the playgrounds that like, all right, we're gonna let him kick it now.
Took
Over
too many
there.
hits to the head at a young age. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. I don't know. We don't have any other backs right now. Everyone else is injured. We're putting Sobo back there, so I guess he has to play. He occasionally does something okay, but yeah, he's kind of a mess.
What are you guys doing next game? Because you can't even put him back there.
I have no idea.
Suspend it.
But like bring Indo back. I don't know. Can he play out there? I don't know who else we have. Curtis Jones can't play
Put
back
Salah
there.
back there.
I mean,
Sidebar:
may
did
as well.
Kusanov die in this?
No, he
like-
got subbed off. He said he was fine, but
Yeah.
wow, knee to the
That looked
face by
brutal.
Donnarumma. I thought he was out. Dude. I thought he was literally unconscious.
Yeah, I think he might have been for a second.
Jeez.
Anyway, the thing we haven't talked about yet is obviously Holland ends up kind of damaging all of our ranks with a pen and an assist. It's funny because when we were getting to that, like 60-minute mark or what have you, when City hadn't scored, I was like, damn, we're going to come on the pod and I'm going to have to like throw that tentative, all right, should we start talking about selling Holland out? And then he just comes through. Obviously ends up being the best captaincy pick narrowly. It was kind of, at this point, it was a little bit of a pick 'em between João Pedro with 9, Bruno with 10, and Holland with 11 in terms of like the most popular options. But he does it again. So
Chow only ended up with 8, sadly.
Chow?
Chow, Pedro, only
Oh,
ended up with 8.
Chow. I
Sorry.
heard Chow too. I was like, who's captaining
like, yeah,
Chow?
My bad.
Captain him, and he did not get 8 because that would have been.
Yeah, I was like, what were you on, dude?
Did he really only end up? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
regardless, pretty close week in terms of captaincy. So it doesn't really seem like anyone got burned too much going, no matter where you went with it. So it's all fine. But I don't know. This one also didn't feel like Holland is Holland. I'm never gonna doubt him too hard, but getting a pen, and then I mean he was very involved in that assist. It's not like that wasn't ticky tack or some shit, but it doesn't feel like he's at the level of dominance that he was earlier in the year. And City, this was their second win in 8, I think. So they're just not flying as much as they were before. And I think even though he did end up winning this race, it kind of feels like maybe the Haaland captaincy has turned for a little bit. But that being said, their fixtures are pretty good going forward. So I'm curious where you guys are at on that. Obviously, this upcoming week, we have a double, so we don't really have to worry about it. But I am curious long term, do you guys feel like that template has shifted of permacap Haaland? Or is that just was that a short-term fix?
I think it's shifted. I think it's been shifted for a little while. And I think that's mainly just because Manchester United, Chelsea, even Villa a little bit are just so hot that you actually have other options. I felt like the story for the first half of the season was like, okay, if you don't cap Haaland, who are you going to cap? Because we're only getting random set piece goals from defenders.
Right.
Like Sharp was brave a couple times, tried to cap someone else and just never had anything happen because just nothing was happening in the game. Now that like Manchester United is putting up a couple every game and Chelsea are scoring consistently, it's like, okay, we can actually move somewhere. That being said, City has a pretty easy run of games. So just because there's some hot hands doesn't mean I'm like going to take my eye off capping Haaland if it's the best game or the best matchup.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think you said it well. I think it has been staying off Haaland. This didn't really inspire anything in confidence in terms of going back to him either. Like, yes, he happened to squeak it out this week in terms of being the best captaincy option. But even the commentator said after that header assist, he's like, well, there's Haaland's one touch of the half so far.
Yeah, it was like literally his only touch of that half. Like, I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but wasn't outstanding in this game, eye test wise.
No, for sure. So to me, it doesn't feel like I need to go back to him by any means. I'm looking at, Bruno has West Ham next week and a few what other options I have next week. Could be João Pedro again. But I mean, he's always in the mix because he is Haaland. I just, like you said, he's not perma style. And I kind of hate that because this week I captained João Pedro, so he is plus for me. But then Haaland and Bruno, them scoring anything actually hurts my rank because of the amount of people that are captaining them. So it just makes it more complicated when there's more people going different directions.
Yeah, I thought that we had a chance with João Pedro. I also captained him. I actually let Twitter pick my captain this week, and they told me João Pedro, and I was considering anyways because I thought that there was a pretty even chance between Bruno and Pedro.
I'm kind of pissed. Like, shocker, but I'm kind of mad. Like,
about what?
2 assists from pens is that's fucking 2 weeks in a row, right? The first week, as somebody who didn't go with him, I was like, oh, the first week, okay, I'm betting on him not having good minutes. I was right, but I get punished for it. Second week, like, not going for him, he doesn't actually get anything in open play. He just gets 2 pen assists. I was like, all right, fucking brutal. Come on. Anyway.
I'm not convinced that, like, Bruno, I thought we could have gotten away with one with Bruno, the Bruno hedge, if Spurs hadn't gotten a red card in the first 30 minutes and played with 10 men for 70% of the game.
Sure.
Like, the Haaland one is Haaland doing Haaland things, but like the Bruno one was kind of jank, some really poor defending, especially for his second goal.
Yeah, but like, is that not what you expect from Spurs? Like, you say that like it's an anomaly.
I don't say like an anomaly. I say like they were playing with 10 men. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Literally playing a man down the entire game, and then have to sub on who? Like, their bench at this point is just academy players. Like, they're so depleted. Like, so I don't know. My only point in that is I thought that maybe it was a good week to hedge,
Sure.
But Bruno's continuing to do really well. Haaland's Haaland.
Yeah, it is the age-old thing that's been said about Bruno since the beginning of the season. It's just roots to points. And it's like not the sexiest captaincy pick in that sense, but he just is going to find ways. He's less likely to blank than any other captain, I think. The difference is that maybe his highs aren't as high. He's not going to, like, João Pedro could have scored a brace or Haaland could have scored a brace, whereas I don't think, I'm going to say that and then Bruno's going to score a brace. But you know what I mean? Like, I think he's more likely to do like DEFCON and 2 assists than he is score multiple goals.
I think his DEFCONs have pretty much evaporated since he's moved up
true.
higher.
That's true.
Like, if you look at his last 3, Arsenal, Fulham, Tottenham, he's got an 8-7-3. So he's getting close, but he had 14 against City, but that's obviously City. Versus if you look at him in the beginning of the season, he DEFCONed almost most games, or at least was right on the edge all the way through like 19 when he got injured.
And looking forward, like, to that point, I don't think he's super likely to achieve that against teams like West Ham, Everton, and maybe he could against Palace, but probably those three. Like, I think the system shifted, and then also, opposition. I think Newcastle is one where I would be like, oh, he might get DEFCON, but he's also probably less likely to score or something. So it balances out.
Yeah. I think he's just been so consistent since they've transitioned, since Carrot came in, and he actually gets to play at a natural 10 position and gets to play up the field. He's just so consistent on the points that you almost can look at him as a permanent captain. Like if we saw someone putting up 3 returns like this back to back to back, or if we're up to 4 at this point, like that's more than Haaland's done in 10 game weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward. But obviously this week, there's not really a temptation, I feel like, to go against anyone on the Arsenal side. That being said, we're in an interesting moment with it where, I don't know, where are you guys at on captaincy going into this week? I think that's an interesting topic. You also have the triple captain chip on the table. Mac, I know you've been pretty vehement about being against defender captain. It seems like most likely going into this week, the most popular captaincy option will be Gabriel. I would love to go for an attacker, but I just feel like from Arsenal, like there's not really, it feels like there's no option. Obviously, funny enough, Gyok gets a brace. That's just to be a troll, but off the bench. But
I'm I'm against the defender captain like week to week. I think if there's a clear double game week and you have Arsenal who's just playing incredibly from a defensive perspective, these guys have some of the best defense I've been able to play in a couple of years in fantasy, just from a clean sheet perspective. And I think there's a lot of factors at play, like just goals are down. They play 12 center backs. They don't go for the ball once they get one up. Like there's a lot of factors that are riding into that. What still just makes me nervous about this Arsenal double is that they have this FA Cup game versus Wigan in the middle. Now it is Wigan. And I think that if they were going to do some rotation, they're probably more likely to rotate midweek in that FA Cup game and rest all the guys. So I think that minutes could be pretty secure, but that's the worrying part about trying to captain like an Arsenal attacker, like a Rice or something. So I think that is pushing me further and further into the defensive captaincy of a Gabriel.
Yeah. And you would think that going into Brentford and Wolves, I don't know what the actual market odds are, but you would think that they're probably between 40 and 50% in terms of likelihood to clean in either one of those games, obviously higher for Wolves. So in theory, clean sheets can be wiped out super easily, as we saw in that Leeds game, kill myself. But in theory, they should probably keep one clean between the two at least. So you have a relatively safe floor. Gabriel's also shown that he's pretty good at DEFCONing. He didn't get it this week, right? Or did he?
No, he didn't. He sat at 8 for the last 20 minutes of the game. Yeah. It was brutal.
But he's been doing really well for DEFCONs for a while. So I think, again, roots to points, he's pretty solid there. Yeah, he's him and hot on the DEFCON front, but he's got those options. So I think it's a solid one, but where are you guys at on the triple captaincy? I think that's where it gets more spicy. So obviously the pros and cons are this is a double. It presents itself as an opportunity, and we know what we're getting out of Arsenal. The flip side of it is the opportunity cost of potentially getting one in like a 36 or a 33, depending on what your strategy becomes at that point.
Yeah, for me, I think right now I'm leaning Gabriel as my captain this week, but for the triple captaincy, I'm kind of playing it as I'll say this and we'll see if I feel the same way by Tuesday morning, but I feel like it's a wait. Like if I'm playing him to clean one and get DEFCONs in the other and not clean, I'll say Thiago puts one in, but he gets DEFCONs in that game. He's sitting at 10 points. I mean, I would have gotten more out of triple captaining Haaland this week. So to me, I think I want to give it time to pull the trigger later in the season. I don't want to use it up yet.
My only counterpoint on that is goals have just been so down this season. There's really very few players who are week to week scoring even. The consistency is just so down that I really don't want to use a triple captain on Gabriel in 26 if a team hits a patch of form later. But I'm struggling. The problem is also just a lack of clarity in what some of these later doubles are going to look like in 33, potentially 36. there could be an amazing game that we don't know about. But unless like Holland finds some serious form or something like that, maybe 2 clean sheets from an Arsenal is like 36 points, and that's a fantastic triple captain. Like,
Yeah, I think when I'm thinking about the opportunity cost, I'm trying to imagine what a player would be that I would be more confident in triple captaining later. So yes, Holland is obviously very capable of finding that form, but like if he had a double this week, I don't know if I'd be as encouraged, just in the sense of like he's been a little bit off of it and City have been a little bit off of it. So yeah, they would have to find some form. Alternatively, like what's the next best person? Probably Bruno Fernandes. And because they don't have any cup competitions or anything, I don't think there's any chance that they double. So he's off the table. And so then it comes down to like, who would I even triple captain? Maybe if Palmer is doing something at that point or some shit like that. But I don't know who that option would be. And again, to your point, Sharp, somebody could present themselves and we could have a golden opportunity by that point. It's a very long time in the future, but it may be that we get to that point and you're looking at someone like a Bowen, for example, right? And you're like, I guess I'll triple captain him because he's got a couple nice fixtures. That's probably a bad example. I'm sure they're not going to double, but you know what I mean? Like, it may just be a optimal player with decent fixtures. So I think the balance is there. I don't feel super passionately one way or the other. I'm probably leaning towards actually using it this week. Part of that, though, has to do with I'm at 1 million and I just want to get back in the fight with you guys, but that's neither here nor there.
I just want to do something to bolster how I look right now.
Right. I want to inflate my rank somehow.
No, I hear you guys. I think it's very valid to play it this week. I don't think, like you said, you could very easily get to 36 with him doing nothing but standing back there both those games. So it is possible. I think I'm still just taking that patient wait approach. The same with the wild card, waiting till 33. So
who the fuck is this guy? What did you do as Sharp?
Well, so, I mean, patience aggressive because I took a hit this week. So, it comes and goes.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, you said the word patience. I don't think it's like an oxymoron.
You're right. So I probably should triple captain this week. Okay.
Yeah,
Good call.
Like you go with like a differential, hit triple captain Rice or something.
Well, I mean, you could have triple captain Cole Palmer this week, and you apparently would have looked like a genius.
Yeah, for sure.
The highest team of the week did triple captain Cole Palmer.
Jesus,
I fucking hate that dude. Like these, if you look at these accounts, they're like these accounts that were created this week, took a minus 24 point hit, triple captain Cole Palmer, and the account's already deleted. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just like these fucking guys who are like trying to farm, I guess, the team of the week or something. I think there's like a prize for getting the highest score, but like, fantasy's got to do some shit about this because nobody's actually getting this. It isn't just some bot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not, to be fair though, they're not competing with you for rank, right? Like,
I don't care about rank though. I want to dream about getting highest score of the week or something like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, got you. Yeah, let's talk Palmer and cuck João Pedro for just getting the pen and watching.
It's role player João Pedro.
No, okay. I mean, to be fair, yeah, go ahead.
You can't get mad at João Pedro and then be tweeting shit like Palmer's back on the menu when it's the same argument.
I actually, you're right. And like, honestly, if I was going to take a stance, it would be that in general, the player who gets fouled should take the pen. So if anything, I would be more damning to my point. No, so I agree with you. And like along the lines of the Palmer's back on the menu, like I said that to be funny, but I do think if any player scores a hat trick, you have to think about it. Right. And I think you're probably right. He gets 2 pens in a game. How likely is that to continue? Probably minimal. But if he's playing 90 minutes, he's first for pens. We know that. Then it's not unlikely that he could continue to get pens. Probably not 2 a game, but that's real. And then he scores 1 from open play. So I'm not going to break my team to go there right now. I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. But it does, like, I feel like this is also an indictment on me because last week I literally said Cole Palmer's not an option, and I don't know who could disagree. So that was echoing in my brain as I kept seeing him coming through and scoring. But
I don't know what to do about him because if you bring him in this week, you're point chasing into Leeds and Burnley, and like you might get rewarded for that, but then are you going to burn a transfer immediately to get him back out
Right.
against Arsenal, then Villa, Newcastle, Everton, City, United? Like that run just dries up basically for the rest of the season so fast that I have really mixed feelings about bringing in somebody who's 10.5.
Yeah.
He like his price didn't go down at all despite him being not a pick the entire season.
Well, not only that, but he gets subbed out at like what, the 60-minute mark, 61 minute.
Yeah.
And it's because he's still not 100%. Like he was like, all right, fine, we don't need him right now. But like that doesn't inspire confidence in me to continue going there, or that he's going to come in fresh and actually function well every single game. So to me, this is like yeah, sure, you can consider him because he put 3 up, but Eze also put 3 up, and then we saw what happened after that. Like I don't foresee this being a long-term play, so I don't need him.
Can you let your boy João Pedro know that next time he can get a pen after Palmer subbed off so that Enzo can score it instead? That'd be pretty fucking huge. But
I think it'd just be great if they allowed him to take the pen.
Yeah, exactly. What was the early in the season? Palmer gave him a pity pen. I could use one of those right about now, but
yeah, be all right with that.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page. Like none of us are rushing to get Palmer. Ironically, this is like I was thinking about you, Mac, where if I were in your shoes, I'd be a little frustrated at like having the wild card, and we were talking about like why would you go Palmer, and then people who did get the a hat trick, but
I'm not frustrated at all. I had Enzo to João Pedro last week. Like Enzo didn't do it for me this week, but he's returned.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the João Pedro assist softened the blow for sure.
Yeah.
We didn't do game week reviews. Shocker, because I'm in the banana.
Yeah, right. You just don't want to talk about it.
No, we can do it. We can do it. Yeah, sorry.
Front and center.
Yeah. Ryan, Gabriel, double clean. Nice. Rodon. Anyone who watched that game knows how upset I am that they didn't clean because they absolutely should have. And they just were like, why don't we just give you a pity goal, Forrest? So I feel like that this is a frustrating one where I feel like the decision was right. Like I went through the reason I ended up keeping Rodon, not going for James Hill, was because I was like, Forest attack are really bad, and they've been really bad, especially recently. So this is good. Leeds dominate the entire game, look like they're going to clean, and then they just let in like the easiest goal of all time at the end. So frustrating. But he does get DEFCONs. Hype. Newcastle defense look like fucking shit, so that's a problem.
So bad right now, dude. So bad.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when it comes to my transfer plans. I have some issues there, but yeah, double Arsenal defense. Obviously, not going to change that ahead of the double game week. Rice gets DEFCONs and a clean sheet point, so he kind of returns. But Arsenal's attack is just such a. I hate that team. Bruno Cap, totally fine with that. Enzo blank, which is frustrating considering how many goals they scored, but neither here nor there. Bumo scores, and to your guys' point, limps off, so that's exciting. Did he limp off the field, or was it just out of the stadium? Because I only saw
the stadium afterwards, so like he could just be tired. Like nobody knows. There's this account. I think the guy's name is FPL Physio or something like that, where I think he's like an actual doctor, and he's like, okay, it could be a muscle injury, bad. It could just be a cramp. Totally fine.
Right.
Like,
right.
So
not going to read too much into it. Yeah.
Well, I know I'm reading way too much into it. Definitely go follow that account because I'll be stalking him the next couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just don't really know unless you hear in the press conference, Carrot come out and say he's going to be out for a few weeks. Like if he just says he's dealing with something, like what do you do about it? I'm not going to sell him. I don't know. Maybe it's.
I think I would sell him in that instance. Like, I don't. If he's for sure in, he's a midfield playing striker, which already puts him as an outsized potential anytime he scores, right? Because then he's going to get 5 points when he has easier access to goals. So I'd love to keep him. If we do get confirmation that he's out for a couple weeks, there's no real point of keeping a dead asset. Like I'd rather bring in then like maybe this is your route to like a Verts who's around the same price or something like that. Like there's plenty of other productive options in the
That's true. It does, because like my plan in theory was to maybe go to a Wirtz in a couple weeks, but yeah, maybe you just make that move a little early. I think Semenyo is also worth considering. Obviously, both of those guys blanked this afternoon, but I don't think that puts me off either one of them.
Semenyo definitely passed the eye test. He was very involved today, and just with that, like still somehow 50% ownership. Anytime he scores, you're losing 60K ranks.
100%. Yeah. So similar to Enzo, Bowen is involved. Bowen is a part of a game where there was a lot of goals, but he's not involved. Ekitike, we talked about earlier, and then Holland, we talked about earlier. So Honestly, a pretty solid week. Like normally, it felt like the potential for points was a lot higher in a couple of these instances. Ultimately, me worrying about Wilson coming on didn't end up being a thing, which I think like Sharp, this is where you might be right, where maybe that is a fund opportunity for me. I could go, we have Dewsbury Hall who came back. We have Bruno Guimaraes who came back, and both of those guys returned. So I don't know if I'd save any money. Actually, I definitely wouldn't save any money going to Bruno G, but maybe I could go to one of those Everton guys, save up some money and go somewhere else. But anyway.
I mean, Wilson's blanked in 3 out of his last 4.
Yeah. But this is when, let me see, the Fulham fixtures do start to turn really nice really soon. So they play City this week, and then it's Sunderland, Tottenham, West Ham, Forest, Burnley. So I don't have to keep him for sure, but it also feels like a weird time to sell.
Not like a priority out, right? Like when you have Chow looking at you, like with those evil eyes, I think that he's the least of your concerns, and Dorgu as well.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we can jump to Sharpenator. Where are you? Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah.
Titled Game Week
24. I know it was the wrong one. All right, let's get it.
Not only that, but no name. Yeah, I'm always like, yeah, never mind. Continue.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We got there. Yes, so Brighton blew the clean this morning, which I actually think is more indicative of Palace. We talked about it last week, getting their wow,
Did I throw you off with the quack?
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay. Wow, more indicative of Palace getting their legs back underneath them a little bit with Sarr, and I think with their defense as well. We were kind of talking about Lacroix and stuff off air. So I don't think that's as indicative of like Brighton being bad. Either way, Verbruggen loses the clean there. Basically, as soon as he gets it, double Arsenal as well. Tark, unfortunately, I think it's time to move on from Everton in total. And when I say I'm looking at Palace, I'm looking at going down from Tark to one of them as a possible replacement defender that I could play each week. I still have Gahey, so I don't have to worry.
Hell yeah, Rubber Ducky. We love that.
We're just ruining your flow midstream.
That's crazy. I feel like this was a week, like we've all talked about, where guys that we expect to get points actually got points. So you look at all
except for
5.
Barry. Glad we argued for that for like half an hour about Barry versus Wilson last week.
Yeah, it didn't fucking matter. Ironically, Dallo, which all that did, I still don't really have confidence in United's defense, but like Dallo became less of a priority because they have West Ham this week and a couple other decent fixtures coming up where it's like he's not killing me to sit there, and he might end up playing at some point. So priorities, I guess, looking forward. Or I guess before I get to that, shout out to Anderson. I love my 4-point floor. Plug and play every single week is amazing. So here for that. Looking forward, Barry, Tark, Wilson, all on the chopping block. Dallo's cheap enough where he's not on the chopping block yet.
So you have a shit ton of money in the bank right now, right? You got like $3 million, right?
Yeah, 3.2.
Does that make you want to do something crazy, or are you just really looking? I mean,
you actually could go to Palmer.
You
in
could
one
like
move.
actually get Palmer in. Like you're not feeling around for anything bigger?
I have no desire. No, I mean, bigger wise would be taking Wilson up to a Bumo or Verts, and that is one place. That's the other one. I could take Barry all the way to Ekatike if I wanted to.
Wow.
That's pretty sick, actually.
That was pretty sick.
Damn, Saka's that much? Jesus.
I mean, Saka was 10 mil.
That's what I'm saying. Like Saka really got you some funds.
Yeah, he did.
Nice. And yeah, this isn't up to date. Like you had 75 total, I think.
Rubber Ducky agrees. Don't get Palmer.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Yeah,
we're on the same page. I don't think any of us want to. But
you gotta think about it. You gotta throw it out there. All right, Mac, where is yours? Here we go.
All right, yeah, King of the Game Week. Let's go. This wild card has been treating me amazingly. I know that I said that it might not work, but I just want to chase rank because this is the time to do it. Like the further we get into the season, the less of a shot you have of actually like gaining rank, right? Because it's just so set in stone. And yeah, I'm flying. I think my game week rank was like 250k. I'm shooting up again. I was actually like 360k if we stopped the count yesterday, but just with like Haaland scoring because I didn't captain him, that cost me some rank.
If we just didn't play 1/10
this
week,
if it wasn't for the highest asset in the game, I would be doing great.
Yeah. Well, hey man, it's shoulda, coulda, woulda. If Holland somehow like just didn't play or something like that, would have been fantastic for me. But also, I just lost some points on like pure like minutes play. It's like 2 points here from this guy, 2 points from Ekatike. That adds up to like 6 points or something like that. If you have a Tiago as well,
Boo-hoo.
I'm not boohooing at all. Hey, what's that down there? Luke's rank. There we are. Pull that back up for a second. Anyways, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the team though. Like Roger scored like another worldie. He just doesn't do anything normally. He only scores bangers or not at all. And then Neener Sharp, my 3 million more expensive defensive midfielder, outscored your cheap ass defensive midfielder by 1 point. So take that.
And my cheap ass one outscored your Enzo.
Well, that's not the same guy. But yeah, I don't know. Chalobah is like shocking. Like I was afraid of the Chelsea defense when I brought him in on my wild card, and it has a termination point, like a very clear termination point. But I'd like 1 clean sheet in this little run is the only thing. And then choosing between Senesi or Guehi was kind of like a no-win. I was figuring that clean sheet would be eliminated. So I think the biggest story here is that Twitter did not let me down because I let Twitter pick my captain. Because
it did let you down.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it did let me down, but it wasn't in a massive way. Like, I still think it was a good week to hedge Bruno Fernandes because, again, if Spurs hadn't gotten a red card like 30 minutes in, it was possibility of like him getting less points. Even if he only had that assist, right, then he's looking at like, a 10, 12 pointer, not like 20 points. So yeah, I was fine with it. It was a fun little exercise to just like let Twitter pick my captain, right? Like I could have had 4 more points, I guess, but happy with the week overall and got a good rotation in for next week.
Just along the lines of Rodgers, obviously you both had him, and this is exactly what we talked about last week. This just makes me laugh. Like, right?
Dude.
It's a week where we said it, right? We're like, he doesn't need his team to be firing. He just needs to score a banger. Obviously, this wasn't like his standard 20 yards out from the box, just rip something insane. But still, he's just that guy. He's got that dog in him. So he's able to pull something out of his ass even when his team's not doing too well. I don't know, but does this worry you guys in general? Like, obviously Villa has been struggling from the attacking side. Rodgers continues to find a way. So I'm sure neither of you are looking to transfer him out, but it's just an interesting thing where it's like, I don't know if this is one of those where you need to cash in and say, okay, hey, I've gotten the points, but I've been lucky to, or if you're just like, hey, this is who this guy is. I'm going to keep him for the foreseeable.
I mean, I don't think there's any reason to get rid of him when they still have a good run of fixtures coming up.
Right,
Yeah, see, that hurts. Poor Duck. And I thought he knew ball when he went away from Palmer. I guess not. No, you can't go away from him because of the fixtures, and as well as
it's the
once
fixtures.
he gets the players around him back, I think they're gonna get back on form and be okay.
I mean, Watkins played. Like, who else are they waiting on?
McGinn, Tielemans, both
are
out.
either of them coming back soon though?
I don't know if they're coming back soon, but I think they'll be back before the end of the season. Like I think they're out for like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
Ducky's 4K overall.
Shit.
It's pretty impressive. But yeah, like I mean, would they have Leeds and Wolves in the next 3? That alone is a reason not to sell Rodgers. Then they have West Ham, Forest, Sunderland, Fulham, Tottenham, Burnley, all the way through 36. Like, it just with how many options there are. If you have a guy who you can at least say on paper is relatively cheap and probably going to score, it's fine. And then you can rotate amongst like the Vertzes and the Semenyo of the world and just not have to worry about ever transferring him in. Like Rodgers is probably not going to blank. He's probably not going to double. He's just going to be consistent, like can or cannot play each week.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like he's like the prototypical boomer bust. Like it actually is either a blank or a haul is what it feels like with him. But the fixtures are great. So I hear you guys.
Mm-hmm. We had a McDonald's Ekatike blank, but it's all right. He'll come good at some point. Not on the Rodgers conversation, but
he said he's also a Chalobah owner, needs him to clean. Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't really touch on that when we were talking about Chelsea, but another rough week. Obviously you get the DEFCONs out of it, so it's not the end of the world, but you'd be hoping. I mean, I don't think even if they don't clean next week, I think you'd still keep him for the last fixture there. Like you
100%.
might as well.
I said even if he doesn't clean, when I brought him in on my wild card, I was keeping him through 27.
Especially because you have blank game week 31. as well as just need transfers for the future. If you use your wild card already, then you're really in a mode of needing transfers. So he's definitely not a priority transfer out.
Yeah, no, and
it's just the train you're on.
Yeah, I've said like boom or bust with these Chelsea's assets that I brought into my wild card. I was going to keep them through 28. I'll have 4 transfers in 28. We'll probably get out of all 3 of them. Maybe I'll keep João Pedro if he continues on his form, but we'll see. But Enzo and Chalobah are for sure going, and then we'll probably just roll again through 31.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think that game week review wise, I feel good. Feel like we covered most things. So Mac, on that note, do you want to talk about transfer plans and where you're going from here?
Well, I kind of just did, so that was a great segue. I'm really not doing a transfer this week. The only thing that I'm keeping my eye on is Mbumo. We know that he limped out, right? If he's injured, that could suck, just because I would really like to hold him for kind of an extended period of time. Again, with him having outsized points, just compared to the fact that he's playing striker as a midfielder, right? Goals are worth more. But
what if we get a response from Carrick that's like standard Arteta, where it's just like, we need to see. He's got training later in the week. We need to see. Is that enough to give you cold feet to go to a Semenyo or works?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to hold him for a week regardless, especially because it's such a short turnaround this week. Like, I think that playing one of Krupi or Senesi against Everton will probably be fine. If Senesi doesn't clean, he has a high chance of getting DEFCONs. Like, I have a fine bench to ride out a week and get more information if we get like an Arteta answer from Carrick, right? Because at some point we're going to know that he's out for a long period of time, and whether he tells us on Tuesday or not, like, as you said earlier, he could just be benched, right? And so that's why I built such a strong bench with like an Alderete and a Krupi and a Senesi, all guys who I don't want to play week to week necessarily, but guys who I'm fine running through all 3 of them if I need to on a 1-week basis if there's some unexpected rotations. So keeping the team, not really making a transfer, probably not making a transfer next week either. Just going to maintain the course. The only real big question for me this week, I think, is captaincy. We've talked about Gabriel, obviously. I'm definitely not capping Rice. I don't own a Mane, who's like the only other person putting their hands up. So it's going to be Gabriel. It's just a question of like, do we triple captain or not?
And like Mane versus, I don't know what their other fixture is, but he's playing Arsenal as one of those games. So effectively, it's a single game week, I feel like.
Yeah, like
doesn't feel. Forrest gets to be the other one, right? So I mean, that's all right.
It's Wolves. I don't know. Even if I had Mane, I don't think there's any chance I'd be captaining him over Gabriel.
And that's what I looked at bringing him in on my wild card, and I was like, I just don't know if I'm going to play him. Like, if you look at this team, like, who does he come in for? Like, maybe Rodgers versus Brighton, but I probably just wouldn't play him.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty quick week for me. I'm just rolling again, like the course.
And where are you at, like, percentage wise on triple captaining Gabriel?
It's very uninspiring. My heart says like 10%. My head says maybe a little bit higher, because we've seen this season just that you can captain defenders successfully. And if you're going to captain one, it's going to be Gabriel. But I don't know. If Brentford gets a pen or Wolves get a pen that's deleted, if you get 1 goal, like, the ceiling is obviously higher, but I don't know. I'm like a 10% chance of actually doing it. I have not thought about it enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, Sharp, talk to us.
Yeah, I think I have a problem with this whole DEFCON thing and clean sheets being points, and like wanting to have a defense that's fantastic when they're starting to show that we don't need that. Like, you can have all of the attackers that are returning, and so I'm like, right now I could take Tark to a Lacroix. I could, and this would be maybe a 2-step move, or take another hit this week, is take Rice somewhere and then take Tark to, well, I wouldn't even have to. I could just take Tark up. So I would have to do it for this. Sorry. Go Saliba and play 3 Arsenal defenders and it not be Raya, and play all 3 of them at the back for the rest of the season, and maybe completely divest of my.
Why would you not do Raya? Verbuggins stinks.
I have Royce too. It's just the fact that he's played City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, so the rest of his season should be fine.
The only problem with going 3 Arsenal defenders is that you'd have to that actually can't work for the rest of the year because you'd have to bench all 3 in 31, and so you wouldn't have enough to field a full defense.
I did forget about that. That's so sad.
It's a great point. Yeah. That's a really good matchup.
Good call. Good call. Never mind. Won't be doing that. Well, that takes me back to this was really the reason I was even considering alternatives such as that is because what I want or what my plan was to take Wilson up at this point to either Bumo or Verts. I guess Semenyo was always in that conversation, but he wasn't my top option. And then what does not inspire me is honestly, Verts was involved today, but I wouldn't say he was exciting me with any of the passes that he really made. And again, we still just look so poor or in and around the box that it's tough to get fired up about that. Bumo limping off just didn't help anything in my brain. Yeah. But then I'm looking at Barry and I'm like, okay, well, I could take Barry up because I'm certainly out on him now. He's just kind of a wait and he's moving at some point. It's just when is it going to be convenient for him to move? And I could get all the way up to Ekatike right now, but then I go back to the same problem I have when I talk about Verts, about our finishing. So
what about Semenyo?
I know, I don't hate it.
I think that I would rather bring in a Liverpool guy over a City guy purely to play the blank in 31 because you're going to have all 3. Everyone's going to own 3 Arsenal players. That's just you're not playing the game if you don't at this point. And so if you own even a singular City player, which most people own Haaland, so that's already 4. We all own Guehi or thinking about getting Guehi. We're looking at trying to field play around with 5 benching headaches in 1 week. So I think that moving into the Liverpool players gives you a little bit of an avenue for riding through that. And that's why I go a Wirtz or an Ekatike over a Semenyo. Even if you're getting punished by the ownership, at least you can field a team in 31 and their fixtures get good. And yes, Liverpool didn't look amazing today from a Wirtz or an Ekatike perspective, but they're playing Manchester City. Then they're playing Sunderland next week.
Yeah.
It's a different league of game.
So, sorry, I do want to. I think I have an idea of the whole if you want to go Ekatike or Wirtz thing because I personally I would say Ekatike and I'll get there, but also just to throw your triple defense idea back into the things, you can't get Saliba, but you actually could get Raya. And I say that because then you could just bench Raya in 31 and play Royce, who does Sunderland play in 31? Newcastle. Ooh. But that's not awful, actually.
No, I don't hate it. I think it goes back to to make that move, I have to get rid of Rice first, or I take a hit, right? So I can't get it this week.
Worth
I have to take a hit. Yeah. It was more so just this could be fun. We've had 2 hours
move
for the game started or stopped. Yeah. Talk to me about Ekatike and Verts though.
Yeah, so I think that in that sense, like you're saying, you're pretty much done on him, right? There's not a huge likelihood of you playing him rest of the year, whereas Wilson's fixtures only get better for the next few. Granted, he's blanked, so I'm not saying you need to knock down the door for a guy like that, but he is one of the highest scoring mids of the season. He's got good fixtures coming up. So if you're picking, it's essentially which of your worst players do you want to upgrade? And I think Barry is your worst player going forward. So, and I also think today's game in Liverpool is a good example of why Ekatike is a better pick than Wirtz, in my opinion, just because Liverpool had a relatively rough day from an attacking perspective, but Ekatike, the chances still feed towards him. Whereas Wirtz is I don't think Wirtz is a bad pick by any means, but if I was choosing between the two, I would say that Wirtz's most likely option to assist to is Ekatike. And a lot of these players are feeding Ekatike, whereas Wirtz isn't going to be the guy. I mean, I say this and then he'll bag a brace, but I don't feel like he's the guy that's going to score the goals more often than not. I think he's more often the guy who's going to assist the goals.
Agreed.
So if the money works, I would go for that. But I do think Ekatike is projected to rise. So you might want to double check that.
I don't think.
Maybe he's not. Maybe
not today, but basically everyone from Arsenal and United are.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. Okay, nice. I think that's a good option. Obviously, you can also roll this week. You don't have to make that choice right now. But
no. Sorry, I thought it was funny. I just checked the predicted rises tonight, and Palmer is up there. So I guess there are enough people out there point chasing.
Yeah,
I mean, it might work out for them, right? He
I was
gets
gonna
10
say
next
we can't
week,
sit here and say that he's not good when he
I
just
just-
scored a hat
I'm
trick.
just in a position where I can't play Chase Palmer because it's going to jack up my plan, and I have 3
Yeah.
Chelsea players. So, like, for me, the upside of going Palmer to Enzo is only to transfer him out in 2 weeks is not great.
Fair. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw this out. I think I'm leaning Ekatike right now in general. I'll see how that all comes to life. I guess the only other thoughts or thing I could do at that point is take Rodgers. And we just talked about why we wouldn't necessarily want to get rid of Rodgers. He just seems like the easiest person up to Palmer.
Or you could wait a week and take Rice up to Palmer.
Yeah, but then
Well,
we're kind
actually,
of at the
yeah.
end of
Yeah. I mean, looking at this team, the only guys you don't have that are putting their hand up are Ekatike, Verts, and Semenyo. It's not a bad spot to be, but I think I would want to get cover.
I
for
just
them
think with
somehow.
Palmer, if you get him, you're going to be looking to transfer him out more.
No,
I
I'm
think
not
it's more
advocating for Palmer at all.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just answering. I think if you were to get him, you'd probably ultimately just want to get rid of him. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with Mac.
Agreed.
I would go for one of those guys.
Right.
Okay, talking on my team, I mentioned last week, like I'm pretty set with this attack. I feel like for a while, obviously, eventually maybe I get rid of a Rice. Eventually, maybe I get rid of a Bowen or Wilson, but I don't need to do that. None of those are priority transfers, and in theory, I could keep all 3 of those guys for a while. Bowen probably least of all, but defense is just really poop. So we're back to the same move as last week. I think I'm almost certainly going to do Dorgu to Hill just to get a cheap defender in who defcons and save some money. And he plays Everton this week. I don't think Bournemouth will probably clean in that game, but he'll probably defcon, so I'm sure it's fine. The tricky part is what I do with Chow. So, last week we had talked about maybe I do Chow up to Gahey, and especially after watching this City game again, I just love that idea because he's got so much goal threat. I don't know what his underlyings were today, but I saw multiple times where he got a header on something that really looked like it should have gone in. So I like the idea of it. The problem is he blanks in 31, whereas Chow has a decent fixture. I think they play Brentford in 31. No, they play Sunderland in 31. So look, Newcastle's defense sucks, and I know that. But at the same time, I just don't want to put myself in a hole. So actually, I may share my screen so I can just walk you guys through my plan. Let's see. Did that share? Sick. Okay.
Hill got an assist too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, the infinity. Let's go.
What the fuck? I shared the other screen. Classic.
My only question with Hill while you're pulling this up is who is he covering for that's injured, and do we have a return date? Like, and I'm not asking that because I know the answer, because I certainly don't, but I think that's one thing we should get clarity on before you launch the trigger.
I'm with you. I don't know.
Who is that? Like, because he wasn't playing all season.
Right. That's a good question. Let me go back to Bournemouth's first game and see.
But at this point, doesn't matter.
Well, I think Mac is just saying well, yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Ultimately, I'm generally looking for a short-term fix, but it'd be nice.
Not even that. I'm saying from a Bournemouth manager's perspective, does it matter who that was previously, or has he lost a spot for a little bit while this kid's playing well?
Well, that's the research you got to do, right? It doesn't really matter. I have no opinion on it. I just need to know either way. Is Hill going to continue to play? Right.
Dude, you guys are going to need to help me with this one. The guy who was there earlier in the season is Milosevic. So I don't know. I've never heard of that dude. I'm just looking at random games.
Milosav.
Oh no, it was Diakite.
Is Diakite? Diakite, I think, is back, right? Is he healthy again?
This is a good call. This is a good call to do some research. I will look into that and make
That's
sure.
the only thing I gotta say.
Yep.
With because I think Hill's a fine thing. I've been saying to get him for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
It's just you just gotta confirm with him like a Michael Keane on Everton that he is going to continue to play.
Well, I guess the other thing is ultimately, I will wild card at latest by 32. So I do only need him. Well, I guess that's still quite a bit away, but that's only 6 weeks. So I should be okay. But I will do some research. Anyway, so looking at this, let me see if zooming in helps. Looking at this team going forward. So this is if I keep Chow, and then you go to 31. The thing is, I don't really need that other player, like the Chow defender, all that often. Like, you could argue it's not ideal to play Alderete versus Fulham, but like that's fine. I think I need him in 28. In 29, Alderete plays Leeds and Rodon, like they play each other, which I guess isn't ideal. But anyway, point is, like, it's not the end of the world. I have options. I don't necessarily want Chow in general. But okay, so let's say I go get Gehi. It prices me out of going Wirtz later on, which was tentatively my plan. So eventually I need to get rid of Rice so that in 31 I can bench, have my full bench. And if I get a Gehi, he blanks in 31, so I would do something like that, right? So then I have a full bench of blankers. But I'm 0.4 short of my, in theory, move in 28 to go Rice to Wirtz to make that work. So I could just do I can't go to Semenyo because he blanks as well.
I hate to break it to you, dude, but I don't think you're going to, the idea that those guys are going to stay constant for what is going to be like 3 more weeks doesn't seem realistic. Like, I don't think you're going to make it to 28 with those price changes. Not being priced out of like Wirtz.
No, I'm already 0.4 short with this
Okay.
is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I'm not, what I'm saying is if I get Gehi this week, I'm effectively priced out of my Rice replacement in 28. So my thought process was I get to 28, Arsenal's fixtures turn a little bit. Rice is a problem I need to solve for 31. And I don't have the money to be able to go to a Wirtz, unfortunately. So the alternative, right, is that I just keep Chow, which is less than ideal. I don't want to do that. Or I go cheaper than Chow. That brings me to 28. I am able to afford. Actually, no, I'm still not able to afford Wirtz. That's a lie. So yeah.
Go
ahead.
Sorry, I'm clearly on this Palace train right now. I mean, Richards is down there at 4-4. He's at 4th, I think, currently in form for defenders. And their fixture run is 3rd best. And then for the next 5.
31 though.
Oh, yeah, he also blanks. But it's not the end of the world. I would just play a Rodon. This would be my defense in 31 if I had a blanking defender.
What about Matty Cash? Another cheap defender that you could just play for the odd game that doesn't blank in 31. Is he someone you're considering? Because then you wouldn't be priced out of Wirtz either because or it'd be closer.
Let's see what that would look like.
Because the thing is, as a Gehi owner, would be priced out,
actually.
He's not keeping the cleans.
Yeah, I'm still priced out.
Dude, just go down to Chris Richards. He's 4-4. You're rich.
I hate that idea, but
knocked my mic off my desk there.
I mean, you have the money, and your defense might have gotten better.
But in 28, I need to play him, and he's playing United.
I think it's okay to take a good pick, play him in a bad game for 1 week if you're going to get more out of it.
But I don't think Palace defense is a good pick.
I just think, to Sharp's point, when you look at the defenders and like all of your options, top scoring defenders are from like 3 teams. It's Chelsea, it's City, it's Arsenal, and then it's Palace. So 4 teams. And we don't want Everton guys, so we're kind of just discarding them right away. Unless you're not going to double up on a Chelsea asset, you're not going to double up on a City defensive asset. So if you're just trying to attack the best teams that you can, and you already have a hill, it's not a bad strategy if you don't have the confidence in Newcastle to just go for the Palace guy and play him in those really bad fixtures. Because like they're playing like Burnley and then Wolves and then Spurs and then Leeds, and it's Leeds away who are terrible away. Like,
I could do Konsa.
Yeah, Konsa could work. He's cheaper. He's 4-4.
Yeah, that's not a great so yeah, it's not a great fixture this week. But I do want to confirm, like, are you guys, if I can't afford Wirtz here, is that enough reason to not go Gehi? Because I like Gehi a ton as a pick. Like, I think he's on a relatively good defense and he's got so much attacking threat. I would be really excited about getting him. It would just mean that I have to go to someone other than Wirtz in 28.
I own Gehi and I'm contemplating shipping him in 28 just to free up money for somebody more available, get me out of the blank situation. Like, I think the City defense just isn't consistent enough to where you need to spend 5-2 on Gay, who doesn't DEFCON and isn't getting headers like he was. Like City isn't a crazy set piece team like Arsenal is this season.
Dude, I don't know. If you were watching that game today, like he had, I'd be curious what his underlyings were because he had some great chances.
No,
like,
I was watching it. Like I acknowledge that he's a fantastic player. I think I texted to you guys mid-game, but he was 0.04 XG. Against Spurs, he was 0.6, so that's a little better, but 0.07 against Wolves.
Yeah.
Like he's DEFCONing sometimes.
Most. Okay.
It's just like I'm just saying, like if he's not as likely to clean, and you have someone who can avoid you that 31 trap and is cheaper, and you were saying last week that you don't think spending big at the back makes a lot of sense. Sharp might be just right about just taking a punt somewhere. Like I don't think the difference between 5-2 Guehi and like a Konza at 4-4 is like as big as like a Gabriel. It's like a Konza, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
The only other thing is how many transfers do you have to be able to you're going to be out of transfers?
Right. So like I see what you're saying. Like I could maybe just afford Wirtz with Guehi by pulling somebody else down, but it would be a hit at that point.
Got it. Okay.
So that's where like to the point of like saving money on Harry Wilson, that's what I could do. But I would also need him to play in 28. So whoever I replace him with would also have to have a good fixture in 28.
Well, is it you hold on? Rice has to play Chelsea this week, but is it you hold on to Rice and do Bumo instead when he has Palace, Newcastle, Villa, Bournemouth?
Ultimately, the reason I'm getting rid of Rice is in preparation for 31, though.
Sure.
Like it's not just that I want Wirtz; it's that in 31, if I kept Rice, I wouldn't be able to field a full team.
I mean, you have 3 more weeks.
Wouldn't I? Hang on. Maybe I would. It's not ideal. I do want Wirtz, but.
I mean, Wirtz is definitely better than.
I guess Rice I could field a full team.
And you'd have Bumo out, and you'd have.
But if I go Guehi, it's the same problem. Like if the whole point here is so that I can afford Guehi also blanks in 31. So
here's the thing. The other counterpoint on this 31 thing is like if we think that all active managers are going to blank in 31 because they can't field a full team, then maybe it's not a problem to just take a hit for a week because if the player's going to blank 1 week but earn you net more points in the surrounding 4 weeks, like
yeah.
Dude, 31 is so far away too.
I know, but that's true. And this is assuming I'm going into this with 4 transfers. So I could just it's just that I could wait a week on Wirtz or something. You know, like I can just wait till 29. And also part of this 28 thing, like I do have 2 transfers. One of them I'm using on Bowen to Thiago because I feel like that at that point that'll be a priority. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there are options. I need to keep planning, but I think Konsa's a solid option. I was trying to find somebody who was like 4 or 5 or below that I actually trusted. I hear your point on Richard Sharp. I just don't. They have nice fixtures in the short term, but I do not trust Palace, and I don't want to go back to that defense. I don't know if I trust Villa either.
You'd rather trust Chow. I get it.
I think the thing is you're not trying to trust them, right? Like I don't particularly trust Bournemouth. I'm just trying to use best available cover in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
like you're not going for guys you need to play every single week.
Yeah, Palace blanking in 31 definitely doesn't help with that
because we know who the shit teams are now. So it's like we're just really trying to target those bad fixtures.
Yeah. All right, we've got some comments here. Do you guys want to talk through? I mean, hey, MKK or MKO667, if you want to share. Oh, he's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, we missed it.
He dived. All right, I think that's all I got to talk through. As far as, I guess I didn't mention for my team, I'm leaning towards triple captaincy on Gabriel.
You are?
Yeah. Again, mostly because my rank and I fucking suck at this game. But it's also what I said, like I don't know what the good alternative is. If it's Haaland later in the season, then fair enough. But I think the difference between a Gabriel double and a Haaland double isn't all that different, even if Haaland's at peak power. I don't want to say peak powers because that's not true.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But close to peak power. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's playing even a little better than now, I still think it's close.
I guess.
What do we think that Gabriel's price is going to be next season? Like 10 mil?
So expensive. Dude, he might be I'll bet 7.5. That's my guess. Like I think he'll.
Trent was up to like
outpace
something nuts, like 8 or 9 in his last season, right? Like,
No, he was. I think he was at 7.
Did he only ever get up to 7?
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
That was really high.
But that was pre-Defcons too. I mean, not like he was getting Defcons, but
he was actually allergic to them. I heard.
Yeah,
exactly.
actually, he was playing defense.
Yeah.
Wait, one like high level question just for you guys on this Game Week 31 stuff. Where are you guys using your free hit?
Not in 31.
I think it's 33. Like that template strategy is that you dead end into 31, wildcard 32. No, so it's bench boost 33, and then it's like 35 or something. That's another big blank.
When we get a massive double, we get a massive blank. This is like a blank for 4 teams that I think I can navigate with my free transfer. So I'm definitely using it further down the road.
So the huge blank is 36, and I think I'm right on that. Fuck, I don't know.
No, I think it's one of those. Like it's
33 and 36 are the doubles. 31 and I want to say it's 35 are the blanks. So one of those. And the free hit one I'm also kind of leaving a little bit in the sense of I do in general support like going for a free hit, an aggressive free hit as opposed to a defensive free hit, but it may just be that the cards fall that there's not really a good option. Like if all the major teams are blanking in a given week, then you may just have to use the defensive free hit. So
right, it's almost as much of a defensive play as it is not in this half of the season. And like I will say that's why I really like that they added the chips in for the first half of the season. Like being able to like use my chips without just playing around doubles was a super fun change.
I hate the template that we get into in this last bit of the season.
Yeah,
like
because
we have like 5 more weeks of fun of not that, and then it's going to turn.
And then it's just
like
going to be like who's getting the doubles? Okay, everybody's moving to these players, and that's literally the reason why I wildcarded so early is because I was like, as soon as we get into that template, if you're actively playing, I think functionally your rank is just fixed, like plus or minus 100k.
Yeah.
So 100%. I'm trying to crawl up early and then maintain.
Along those lines, like with the issues I'm talking to you guys about that I might be having in 28, I haven't ruled out just like ripping the wild card then. It puts me in a bit of a spot later on, but again, talking about my rank and wanting to kill myself.
I just think you do it at the point your team becomes a big problem for you. Like I had to do it because I had like 6 guys out. I couldn't field an 11 that was remotely competitive. I like looking at my live FPL, I gained like 18 points on the team I could field last week, like 22 points on the team I could field this week. So
yeah,
that's 40 points, and that was huge. I don't think you need to like look at the template necessarily, because another high level point, I just think that we all get so focused on having the optimal team for these doubles that sometimes the doubles are just shitty in terms of fixtures, or nobody scores. And like with it being so inconsistent this season in general, like scoring isn't the guarantee. It's not like people are bagging hat tricks every week. So it's not like you're on pace for 200 points during this double that you're not going to lock in, if you don't wild card.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Good luck in double game week 26. Oh, go ahead.
Who do you have tonight?
Oh, I was going to say go Seahawks, but yeah. I honestly,
this is why you're ranked a mill.
I think it's easy Seahawks. Like I really do think it's not going to be all that close either.
That's just because nobody likes the Patriots. Like it's been a rough 2 years.
We
haven't won a Super Bowl in a couple years.
It's because you beat the Broncos by 3 points when we had a fucking bum at quarterback. Like that's why.
Whoa. Don't put that on Stiddy. Come on now.
I'm absolutely putting that on Stiddy. Nobody who's a quarterback throws the ball like that. That's insane. I'm so pissed about that game, actually. Like, if we had Bo Nix, we easily win that. It's so crazy. Like, the fact that it was that close, all things considered, so frustrating.
Yeah,
but
if the Queen had balls, she'd be king.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying, the Patriots are not all that. I'm easily taking Seahawks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm actually incredibly nervous, but I'm obviously riding with my boys.
Unlike your boy Tom.
He's back. He's followed us on Instagram again. That little fucking bitch.
Yeah, but he said he's not backing your boys. He's not backing the boys in blue.
You know what? I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I'm a New England Patriots fan, right? Tom Brady can go do whatever he wants on Fox News. Does not matter to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I root for the Patriots.
Dude, did you see the beef that Asante Samuel tweeted out though?
Yeah, deservedly so. Like,
crazy.
Bro, there's a statue of you in front of the building. Like, what are we doing here? But
go Hawks.
No, absolutely not. Fuck you.
All right, we'll catch you guys. Good luck in double game week 26. hopefully my rank will finally be 6 figures instead of 7. Probably not. See you guys.
See ya.